outside hitting position. To say the least, number 22 in white is a very, very good volleyball player.
So is Taylor Trammell in the middle for Penn State. She is an offensive weapon, had a night where she hit almost 900 and had 12 kills on 14 swings.
Did you say 900?
Yeah.
900?
Yes, I know.
12 of 14 against Northwestern. Both liberos doing work. Trammell, high swing, looking for a touch. Very good swing, just a little bit long.
Cameron Hanna has been going high off the hands of Wisconsin. That one missing long, but Wisconsin defense ready for that. Their middle back defender playing on the back line for those high flat swings from Penn State.
Number 9 in white, 6'3", graduate student, CeCe Crawford. 620 total blocks in her career. That's second among all Division I active players. Good pass by Hanna. Right side, Jaravicious off the edge of the block and just out of bounds.
Caroline Jaravicious is really important to Penn State's offense. They need to be able to score from that right side, and she's one of those intense competitors who can bring a lot of emotion to the Penn State side of the net. Watch her go hard off the outside hand of Sarah Franklin.
Has an explosive arm, the 6'2" redshirt freshman out of Cleveland. One of 2 transfers from Nebraska. Sarah Franklin again.
The freshman center for Wisconsin is doing a really nice job getting all her hitters involved. That time she held the middle blocker for Penn State because she thought they were going to run the middle, and that freed things up for Sarah Franklin on the left.
There is the young setter Furbringer out of Manhattan Beach, California, 4th in the Big Ten Conference in assists at just under 11%. Jaravicious again. Both teams doing a good job in the blocking phase, getting a lot of hands. Carter Booth, 6'7" junior out of Denver, Colorado, with the paintbrush.
One of the most important combinations for setting challenges is running the quick in transition. It's a high percentage attack, but it's a harder set because of the fast and small window to your middle blocker, but the paintbrush works.
That was a Van Gogh, not a Rembrandt. Very light touch from the paintbrush. Furbringer very early in her career, obviously. Good set to Franklin, has become a very effective server. We saw that last week at Purdue. Good job at the defensive end as well for Furbringer. Franklin off the top of the block.
When we saw Wisconsin last week, before practice, they ran a setting drill. Everybody had to step in and set, and this time, Anna Spreck at 6'9" puts up a beautiful bump set all the way across the court to Sarah Franklin.
Furbringer continues to serve, leading a 3-0 run for the Badgers. Wisconsin hitting .316. We'll give you Penn State's numbers in just a moment. Back to Jaravicious, a little bit wide. Very good set by Booth. That ball missed off the top of the tape and out of bounds. Oh, that ball was called in. Excuse me, that ball was called in. 4-0 run and a timeout called by Penn State. There are interesting matchups in this particular contest right around the dial, but maybe none so more compelling than at the setting position for these 2 young upcoming stars.
Charlie Furbringer, Izzy Stark, 2 freshmen stepping into huge programs, huge quarterback roles for their teams, and they've done a tremendous job this season running their offense for the prospective team. When we talked to Izzy Stark, she said, look, I'm more Midwest style. Charlie's more West Coast style. We're trying to figure out what the difference is, but watch today and we'll see if we can find out.
Izzy Stark into the middle to number 1 Taylor Trammell, 6'2" graduate, transfer from Purdue out of Lexington, Kentucky. Number 1 in the nation in hitting efficiency at just under .480. A spectacular number. Jillian Grimes back to serve. Libero wearing the off-color jersey, working on Schumacher. And Anna Schreck is such a unique talent offensively from the right side, but here she's sitting out in the middle.
Anna Schreck has most of her career played middle and right side. Look at that big offensive window. It's 6'9". She is way up above the net, and Charlie Furbringer finds her.
Averaging just under 3 kills per set and hitting at .322 efficiency. And you see why. That's doing nothing but going up for the former most outstanding player at the 2021 National Championship as a freshman.
Wisconsin knows how important it is to get Anna Schreck going. She had negative numbers last week against Nebraska. They want to put her in good positions. score.
That ball set too low. Good save that time. Perfect center field defense right again to the hot hand. Jaravicius taking a crack at it and gets stuck.
That ball was set inside to Jaravicius, right into the hands, basically, of Carter Booth. She did not even have to move. She was standing there and gets long at the net. Nice press for the block.
Carter Booth, 6'7", wearing number 52. That is putting a hitter into the phone booth. There is Franklin doing it at both ends. Wisconsin on an impressive 7-1 run. Badgers come in with a record of 11-2 in conference, 17-5 overall. Penn State, along with Nebraska, the only undefeated team so far in the Big Ten, and both of these programs still have yet to go to Lincoln. Nebraska was so impressive when they came into this building a week ago Friday. The first time they had won in this building since 2013. The first time that Wisconsin had been swept since 2016 in this particular building.
Kelly Sheffield said, look, we've got young players in really important spots, and that was a big test for us. Nebraska came in, played extremely well, and we did not play our best.
Brett Meyer, the second referee, taking a moment to explain. And speaking of that, let's go to Heather Cox for more.
Well, just a little technical difficulty and delay. The camera, the net camera, and the replay camera is not working, so they just want to make sure everything is tight and right before action resumes.
Thank you, Heather. We talked about how hard Caroline Jaravicius hits the ball. I think that was the culprit going off for Franklin. Working on Merzick down the line, out of system here. That's a good swing. Restart the point. Here is Jaravicius.
Penn State able to score on the right side, away from Anna Streck and Carter Booth. Really nice decision by freshman Izzy Stark to go backside to the right.
Dudo on to serve for the second time. Once again, 24 digs in 4 sets in Chicago just last night. Streck. Pretty nice play out of the middle by Mendelson, but too much heat from 6'9" Anna Streck.
Maggie Mendelson, the middle blocker for Penn State, 44 there. Just gets used out of bounds by Anna Streck.
You mentioned how she struggled against Nebraska. 8 kills on 27 attempts, 10 errors hit negative. Pointed out right before first serve, the entire team, nice play by Mendelson, the entire team of Wisconsin, by far their season low at .094.
You see Penn State attacking the right side of their court, the left side defense of Wisconsin, something Nebraska did really well last week.
There is Merzick once again. Wisconsin went on that 7-1 run. Nice serve by the All-American Jess Merzick.
Jess Merzick putting tons of pace on that serve, and if your platform's not out soon enough, it's going to catch you high and a passing error will occur.
Sarah Franklin is such an expert passer at nearly 60% good or perfect. There is Franklin trying to sneak over and take some real estate. Again,
the pace of the serve from Merzick causing problems right in the seam between two passers for Wisconsin.
Timeout called by Penn State. We knew this one would go back and forth, and Jess Merzick doing the job now from the service line. Wisconsin on top 15-12, but Penn State now with the momentum.
Merry Christmas.
It's that moment.
It's a gift.
You just got me!
When a wish becomes true.
A present? For me?
A person feels seen.
I just thought, God forbid, something happens to that one.
I knew you would like that. That's your color.
And to be seen
Oh, you nailed it!
is to be loved.
Thanks, Mom.
Give the gifts that show you get them. Welcome to your world.
A much needed and excellent response by the Nittany Lions, currently ranked number 3 in the country. 7-1 run by Wisconsin. There is Katie Schumacher-Cawley in her 3rd year on the sideline. Took over for legendary head coach Russ Rose. Was part of his first ever NCAA championship. And as we discussed earlier, a battle for another Big Ten championship, but also a much more important and tougher battle off the court. Diagnosed with breast cancer, had her first chemo treatment on the 21st of October, and will have her second. Let's go over to Holly overpass. Cameron Hanna with a tap down, and the run continues.
Jess Smerzik leading this Penn State team on a 4-point run with the pace of her serve. And they're keeping it cross-court to that area one where Lola Schumacher, the freshman libero, is passing.
Good pass by Franklin, much needed. Spreck down the line. Perfect dig by Grimes. Big chance, what a rip. Cameron Hanna again. So Wisconsin's 7-1 run has been almost completely answered by the Nittany Lions.
Cameron Hanna crushed that ball down the line, and Spreck is in front of her, so she's got to be brave to hit that ball between the antenna and the block. Neither of these teams are a one-pony show. Spreck coming off the right side, off speed. Grimes, first contact, good block coverage. Furbringer with first contact. Sprawling dig, Faldudo chasing. Spreck. And another difficult swing by Wisconsin. Adjustment made. Anna Spreck protecting the line that time. Cameron Hanna nowhere to go. Watch this right hand of Anna Spreck get up and over. The #1 blocking team in the country, showing you why. And that was a very, very important stuff. There's Guchtikin.
Sets up.
Has played libero, now moved over to the defensive specialist role. Again, working on Merzik. Orzel. Guchtikin all over that. Furbringer right back at you. Perfect first contact. Franklin around the back row. Both setters in the front row, both teams ready for those offensive dumps. Watch this free ball. They send a slide hitter, and that opens things up in the middle. Sarah Franklin one-on-one on the Bick. Franklin 5 of 12, no errors. Anna Spreck 4 of 11. Guchtikin with the service error. Wisconsin leading at 17-15. This amazing facility first was constructed in 1930 and has become the full-time home of Wisconsin volleyball in 1986. Here's Mendelson. Easy serve to Franklin. That's gobbled up. Devin Robinson, we haven't called her name often. Devin Robinson is an exceptional slide hitter. She's powerful and dynamic and gets on top of that ball with some serious pace for Wisconsin. And Penn State better rethink some serving strategy. That was absolutely a lollipop right to Franklin, and she's the best passer on the floor for Wisconsin. Back-to-back service errors, this time by Orzel. Stark will go back to serve. It's interesting. When you read the game notes from Penn State, they say that Izzy Stark was the #1 setting recruit in the country. When you read Wisconsin's, they say Charlie Furbringer was the #1 setting recruit in the country. 1A and 1A plus, you figure it out. Dug by Stark. Tough chance. And the ball falls. That's a mistake by Wisconsin. Gigi claims responsibility, 21 in white for Wisconsin. She says, I'll lift that more. But if the setter can't get there, she needs to yell help to her teammates, so somebody steps in. Stark again. Out of system here, swing for Franklin, just inside the 3-meter line. Not the best pass, and the set was coming from way off the net, but Sarah Franklin goes to work, hits inside of the middle blocker's hand, deep in that angle. That was a big-time swing. Pass was fantastic. There's Crawford. Trammell again. Izzy Stark has so much confidence in her middle #1, Taylor Trammell. Taylor Trammell in previous years was known as a defensive middle blocker, but this year feeling so much more confident with her freshman setter, and that connection is showing. There is Hanna, 6'2" grad student, second season at Penn State, out of Lansing, Illinois. Big swing by Booth. Carter Booth in
at 6'7" is so long and dangerous, and Charlie Furbringer feeds her perfectly. Fast, high enough she can get on top and drive that down for Wisconsin.
Badgers hitting 400 on the other side. Penn State hitting 190. Oh, what a cover. Merzik was Johnny on the spot, and smartly off the edge and out of bounds. Smrek wanted that one back.
Hitter coverage so important when you're playing an elite blocking team. Both sides of the net have to cover, and then look at this ball by Merzik. She just pops it up, keeps it in play, and works for another play off the block.
Excellent pass by Schumacher, and it helps to be 6'9".
Wisconsin attacking that gap set, otherwise known as a 3-set between the middle blocker and the right side, with a lot of success so far today.
Franklin, 19 aces on the year. Another expert pass, maybe a little tight. That looked like a better pass than that was set up that time by Stark. Smart shot by Smrek to reset. Orzel. Mendelson. Boy, that looked like that ball was down. We might have our first challenge. The linesperson on the Wisconsin side called the ball down.
Love the defensive effort by Sarah Franklin. Let's watch. I think she got it.
No challenge.
No argue.
We'll go through all of the challenges, and there are many. One of them is ball up or down. Perfect pass by Schumacher. Oh. Anna Smrek. What a delivery by Furbringer.
Beautiful, and it starts with the first pass, but Charlie Furbringer, her connection with her middle blockers, middle attackers has been perfect, especially on that particular set, that 3-set.
Both of these teams superb right now in first ball contact when the serve is not tough. Basically an automatic first ball side out. Merzik, smart shot in front of Orzel, and Furbringer cannot keep the ball in play.
Well placed right over the block of Anna Smrek, and the off blocker, Orzel, could not run that ball down.
The biggest lead was 15-9 for Wisconsin. There is Merzik, not the same threat as Franklin out of the back row. Oh, an ace! A lucky one off the tape.
Remember earlier in this first set, Jess Merzik took them on a long scoring run for Penn State. That one catches the tape and drops for the ace to tie it up.
Talked to Jess Merzik right before first serve and asked her about the hangover from taking 60 swings last night. National championship, or winning a national championship since 2014 is a drought. There's Katie Schumacher-Colley in her third year, 4 years as an assistant under Russ Rose. Perfect pass by Franklin. Smrek over the top.
Penn State needs to avoid Sarah Franklin every single time, except for that dribbler ace. She is taking care of it. Actually, there was one seam ball that she wasn't able to get on, but she is passing the ball extremely well for Wisconsin.
Exactly right, Holly McPeak. She's good or perfect at 60%, and then you drop down from there. Orzel at 56. They're both very good receiving teams. Here's Kuchtikin. 23-22. Camera Hannah again. Heather Cox telling us that she is severely under the weather, suffering from a chest cold. Stuffed block that time once again by the best in the business right now. Cece Crawford with the stuff number 9. We'll step aside. When we come back, it'll be set Heather Cox on Paul Sunderland, set point number 1. 4 blocks right now for Wisconsin, none for Penn State. Kuchtikin has missed some time, did not play against Iowa last night, and dealing with some injury. Set point. Hannah. Off the edge of the block and down, so the set point is saved.
Confident swing by Cameron Hannah, 8 in blue for Penn State.
serve now for Penn State. Must have for the Nittany Lions. Second set point for number 7, Wisconsin. Got to serve tough, got to serve in. And don't serve Franklin, as Holly McPeak mandated. Right in the middle of the serve receive is Sarah Franklin. Oh, that's too easy. Robinson. We might have a review. Depends on who wins this point. Faldudo. Cameron Hanna. Big swing, but just missed it out of bounds. A net violation was called by the second referee against Wisconsin. Kelly Sheffield already with a challenge card in his hand. That ball was hit out of bounds by Cameron Hanna. We were tied at 24. Here's the call. They looked at the whole play. They went back to what you saw, Holly McPeak, and I saw the same thing. The official's discretion to look at the entire point, and they got it right. Opening set.
Shaking it off right now, but had a lot of heat and got on top of Jess Merzick faster than she expected.
Merzick and Franklin were teammates this past summer, playing for Team USA in the Dominican Republic. Stark back out to Merzick.
Beautiful feed from Izzy Stark to Jess Merzick on that left hand, and she crushed that ball through the seam. Watch the Wisconsin block. There's a little sunlight in there, and she gets on it hard and fast.
Just a rare or a beam of sunlight as Carter Booth, middle blocker number 52, trying to get outside. Errant pass by Schumacher and Orzel. Nicely done off the edge.
Julia Orzel has been turning it down the line and scoring often. Not sure why Penn State is not ready for that ball after that's what she did in the first set.
Orzel in her senior year out of Poland, hitting at a 256 clip. Very good receiver, very good defender as well. Played at the libero last year. That ball by Mendelson. Unforced error into the top of the table.
Maggie Mendelson trying to be cute and sneak a little drop shot. That one doesn't clear. And those are the types of hitting errors that really bring a hitting percentage down, and that's why Penn State's numbers are down offensively.
Quick reminder, if you weren't with us for first serve, Mendelson playing last night at Northwestern left the match in the second set with an injured ankle. Not going to miss this one. Way too much air under that tip. Crawford, what a delivery by Furbringer again.
Wisconsin worked on this connection. It's obvious they need to run their middles, and this gap set really stresses the block on the other side of the net. You saw the Penn State middle going the other direction and late to get there.
Quick early run by the Badgers, 3-0 to take the 5-2 advantage behind Furbringer and Crawford. Tight set. Merzick again, trying to throw it into the block. Smrek with a rejection.
Jess Merzick has her work cut out for her today, facing Anna Smrek across the net, especially out of system plays like this where everybody knows it's going there. The block is well formed. Tough to find ways to score.
If you make the mistake too tight against Smrek and the rest of these blockers for Wisconsin, oh, nice stab. You are going to pay the price. What a shot by Crawford.
Cece Crawford is a middle blocker by trade, number 9 in white, but she looked like she was jump setting that ball, throws it down to the donut.
Adjustments here for Penn State. They got to get out of this rotation.
Agreed, and maybe moving Jess Merzick along the net, possibly to the right side. Find some space to operate and avoid that huge block.
C.C. Ryder, C.C. Crawford, one of the best in the business. Look at this, 6 blocks now already for Crawford to go along with Wisconsin. Short serve, trouble. Furbringer on the gap. Pretty good set in trend. Oh! OTT, Anna Smrek over the top.
What an incredible transition set on the Wisconsin side. This is a bump set from freshman Lola Schumacher, and you're right, over the top. Anna Smrek using all her size to find open court.
Smrek now 8 of 17. Franklin is 8 of 15. No errors between them. Good play by Spreck, cover and tip. Merzik over on the right side now. They have switched. And it doesn't matter. Number 14, Spreck, over the top again. This building's going crazy.
Penn State trying to find a way. They moved Jess Merzik to the right side. He took some swings over there, but Wisconsin defensively has the answer today.
The lead is 10-2 during this 8-0 run. Anna Schreck, 6'9", out of Canada, the most outstanding player at the NCAA championships in 2021. A couple of blocks and a couple of kills.
Penn State just put Cameron Hanna in the back row to allow a back row opportunity offensively for Penn State. Just give them one more option.
Schumacher at the line doing an outstanding job, and Penn State really struggling in reception now. Good call, Holly McPeak. Cameron Hanna out of the back row, but to no avail.
Penn State's trying to find a way. I like the adjustment. Timeout now to talk about it.
I was just about to say, you cannot wait any longer. You got to burn your second.
Really close at the end. So it's a big lead, but I feel like Penn State, if they can get out of this rotation and make some progress at the service line, they could come back.
And what a job the block and defense phase has done for Wisconsin on Jess Merzik, one of the best left side attackers in the country. I'll give you her numbers in just a moment, and they're not good if you're a Penn State fan. Must have for the Nittany Lions. Mendelson. Furbringer in double digits, Diggs.
Charlie Furbringer, the setter for Wisconsin, leads her team in digs. Penn State trying to attack her, force another player to set the ball, but she is answering the challenge. And look at the transition swing by Orgel on two.
Jordan Hopp, who played last night after Mendelson went out with that injury, 6'2" grad out of Alliance, Nebraska, transfer from Iowa State, on the floor now wearing number 5 in blue. That ball missed out of bounds. Get you back to Merzik's numbers. The offensive star carries such a big load, and Holly, you pointed out, 3 of 23 with 4 errors. So she's taken 23 swings, and her team is down a point.
And when your offense runs through a player like Jess Merzik, 31%, that's a big reliance, and none of the other players have been able to find answers either. So it's a lot due to Wisconsin and their defense. They are swarming defensively and in really good spots today.
What a smart shot by Orgel.
We've seen Yulia Orgel go down that line, but this time just seeing open court and the cross court.
To give you an idea how good Wisconsin has been in block and defense and serve, this is the 19th swing for Penn State and their first kill in the set. Standing ovation. Let's go to Heather Cox.
Well, Paul, everybody knew coming in that Wisconsin was a tough team to hit against, especially Penn State. They did everything in their arsenal, got super creative this week when trying to think, how do we practice going up against a 6'9" Anna Schreck, a 6'7" Carter Booth. So they brought in brooms, they brought in huge gymnastics mats, they brought in a team of men to act as practice players, everything that they could think of to practice against this huge block. In fact, Jess Merzik told us this week, it's intimidating, but it can work to attackers' strengths. She's talked about not avoiding the block, that there's actually more surface area to work with on a bigger block, but so far she hasn't found those areas to tool.
Thank you, Heather. What a challenge indeed. Cameron Hanna wearing number 8, playing under the weather. Heather telling us, and Taylor Trammell coming back on as well. 16-3 is the lead right now for Wisconsin. 16-4. It had been so long since Penn State had scored. It took a little while for it to register on our computer. Menger on to serve. A huge mountain to climb. Really good reception. Devin Robinson.
First contact is so important if you want to run your offense, especially we've been seeing a ton of gap sets and slides from Charlie Furbringer, but in Wisconsin, putting up the first contact numbers and Devin Robinson going to work. She goes over the top high seam.
When we spoke with Katie Schumacher-Colley earlier in the week, one of the points that she really emphasized is we must, not just for this match against Wisconsin, but we need to become an elite serving team, and they have not been so far in the afternoon.
Penn State needs to find Taylor Trammell, number 1 in navy blue for Penn State as often as possible. One of the best attackers efficiently in the country.
6 blocks again for Wisconsin. We'll give it 33 digs. Nicely done by Grimes. Hannah. And sneaks that ball in between Furbringer along with Devin Robinson.
Cameron Hannah took a big rip at that one. I'll tell you, Wisconsin was in the right location, but hands were not pressed over the net. And that one gets down on the Wisconsin side.
Crowd getting a little antsy, and it's 17-6. Again, Sarah Franklin.
Wisconsin struggled early in this season, and they're really starting to find their rhythm as a team. They had a freshman setter, a freshman libero, some new young players in important positions, and you see what their high potential can look like. They will be dangerous in the postseason. Caroline Jaravicius back on, trying to add some offense for Penn State, working on Hannah. Oh, that's a good swing, but just unlucky for Penn State. Nobody there in the coverage. Look at this block by Carter Booth. Left hand taking that angle away, and the hitter coverage was right behind the hitter. That went deep in the court. Carly Anderson on to serve, one of the captains for the Wisconsin Badgers. Once again, they have been to the national semifinals 4 of the last 5 years. And speaking of what these two teams have in common, Penn State has had to come through this building the last 2 NCAA tournaments, and that's where their run to a possible 8th national championship ended. That is a service ace for Cameron Hannah, number 8 in blue. Incredible pace on that serve, and the bottom just dropped out for the Penn State ace. They need a lot more of that from the service line. Schumacher, number 30, wearing the libero jersey, has been superb, really good defensively and in reception. And she's usually the target. Penn State now with 4 aces to none. Carter Booth again out of the middle. In order to run that gap set, that 3-set, Wisconsin needs to pass the ball perfect. They do, and Furbringer goes to town, feeding Carter Booth in the middle. The reception for Wisconsin right now has been so expert, as evidenced by the fact that Furbringer's offense is hitting at .508. It's against the number 3 team in the country. Shows you how good Nebraska was in blocking defense in this building a week ago Friday. Franklin. Merzick trying to answer. Anna Spreck and Carter Booth are gigantic. We saw this a couple weeks ago against Purdue. They can give a left side attacker nightmares. You want to attack the edges, the high hands, but it's hard to find anywhere. That is an impressive performance by Spreck and the rest of the Badgers. And that's what the pressure does to you. Unforced error by Caroline Jaravicius. Furbringer, as she does now, closing her eyes to focus. Remember the run she went on at Purdue. Served 11 straight balls. Taylor Trammell. When Penn State passes that ball well, they can run that middle attack. That's Taylor Trammell hits incredible numbers out the middle, but you have to pass, and Wisconsin has been putting all sorts of pressure on Penn State from the line. Trammell was 12 of 14 at Northwestern yesterday evening. So far, hadn't gotten the ball enough. 5 of 8, still no errors.
No errors in her last 22 swings. Merzik got to find a way to get it going. And missed it out of bounds.
It's hard when you're struggling. You want to avoid the block. You want to find ways to score. And I'd like to see Penn State move her around a little. We saw her go right, but everything at that pin in front of Anna Smrek is a little scary.
Jara Vicious, number 14 in blue, a good swing down the line. And to add to the challenge for number 9, Jess Merzik, they're serving her relentlessly. And remember, far less than 24 hours ago, she took 60 swings in the 3-1 win at Northwestern. There is Faldudo. Penn State got to find some momentum. There's no way they're coming back in this set. Try to find something. Good joust by Stark. Perfect first contact. That's up into the Jumbotron, past the plane of the net, so Merzik with a much-needed kill. Good rhythm to that play from start to finish.
Izzy Stark got her some pace, got her a little operating room inside that block, and Jess Merzik takes a big swing for them.
Smrek out of system, smart swing. Wisconsin ahead in the point. The gap again. Booth breaking out the lefty.
Watch this quick attack in transition. Carter Booth gets up, sees that it goes past her right shoulder, and just throws it down with her left hand. Nice court vision.
Set point number 1, Lola Schumacher. Freshman libero. You talked about some young players start throwing it down. In the beginning of the season, Wisconsin, I didn't expect them to win them all, but I didn't think they were going to lose to Texas, Stanford, and Louisville, which they did. We found out Smrek was injured. We also found out that Sarah Franklin fractured her ankle over the summer and tore ligaments. They were still very, very much on the mend. Set point again. Ball on Furbringer. Anna Smrek again. Very, very good out-of-system setting by Lola Schumacher.
Wisconsin so impressive in the second set from start to finish.
So look at the middles. Cece Crawford is 4 of 7. Carter Booth is 4 of 5. Charlie Furbringer is doing a fantastic job running this offense, as are the receivers. Jillian Grimes, 5'6" junior out of Westchester, Illinois. Outstanding libero, 6th best in terms of digs in the Big Ten Conference. Let's see what she does from the service line to start this third. Pretty good. Not a good set that time. A rare mistake by Charlie Furbringer.
That ball carried wide and hit the antenna before Sarah Franklin could do anything with it.
Pretty good velocity on that serve. It was flat as well. Out of system. Gotta have this. I know it's so early, but oh, there's the block again. The phone booth with a roof.
Penn State trying to go to Taylor Trammell in transition, but Anna Smrek came in and helped on this block. She's the right side blocker, steps in and helps Carter Booth, and there's that combination again that's deadly for Wisconsin.
Merzik, you pointed it out, Holly. This time out of the right side and out of the back row.
Give Jess Merzik some space to swing and she'll find ways to kill the ball for Penn State.
9 blocks now for Smrek, Booth, and Wisconsin. Not only are they 6'9", 6'7", very, very skilled in the blocking phase. That's a pretty good block touch, but just too much heat from 14 and White.
Penn State has a double block on that gap set for Wisconsin, but Smrek gets on top of it, and she's got the range to go high off the hands over the defense.
When Anna Smrek has got it rolling, it doesn't matter how many hands are in front of her. It just doesn't. There is Schumacher. Cameron Hanna, not much in the reception, and is exposed there.
Lola Schumacher putting some nice pace and catching Hanna at a weird angle to score that ball. Tough service pressure from the freshman libero.
Schumacher, wearing number 30 out of Carmel, Indiana, has taken over, and very, very well at the libero position. Schmreck. Coming to Orzel.
Sarah Franklin step in and set that transition ball from 15 feet off the net, and Orzel finished it off with a great cross-court swing.
Orzel now 7 of 12. Not really counted on for her offense, but carrying her usual load and then some. Oh, Schumacher's there. Schmreck. Hannah trying to find a way, this time against Crawford and Schmreck, and does so, number 8 in blue.
Transition set from Izzy Stark, setting at the 3-meter line, somehow finds a way between the two Wisconsin blockers who were late on their press.
Pretty good first contact. That was a tough serve. Orzel with the throwdown.
Lola Schumacher, the freshman libero, good response in serve receive, putting that ball up to her setter to run the offense.
Remember the beginning of the season when Wisconsin played that very, very tough schedule we talked about and also was dealing with some injuries. They were also deploying 2 liberos, but Lola Schumacher owns that spot right now, and deservedly so.
Kelly Sheffield told us she was great in the red zone. The last part of the set, she really performed under pressure.
Merzik. Sarah Franklin is a phenomenal center fielder.
Sarah Franklin flying out of the back row. She's hitting that back row quick right down the middle of the court, really successfully for Wisconsin.
Franklin wearing number 14, the reigning National Player of the Year. Also averaging just about 2.5 digs per set. You saw a good example of it there. Stark hustling, but Merzik running out of real estate.
Penn State needs to lock in their focus on their serve receive, put a better ball up there for Izzy Stark. She can do a lot of work offensively. She's a fantastic young setter, but she needs a pass that she can work with.
Timeout called by Penn State. The lead once again for the Wisconsin Badgers.
From one of the best.
It has been all Wisconsin after a very closely played opening set. Back with Holly McPeak and Heather Cox on Paul Sunderland. Tight pass right to Stark. Goochtikin on target. Orzel. The other Stark, Angelina, with a nice save. Merzik into the cross court.
Jess Merzik finding a way for Penn State after the fantastic dig. She was way off the net, but powers that one through sharp angle.
Interesting how things come full circle. Matt Furberger, who's going to be the coach of the pro team here, his setter is going to be Lauren Carlini.
Full circle moment.
Merzik has finally moved into positive territory, and what a swing by Sarah Franklin. And speaking of Lauren Carlini and the Olympic Games and whatnot, Sarah Franklin has a very bright future. We might see her in Los Angeles in a couple of years' time. Let's go to Heather Cox.
Guys, you were talking about the relationship between Charlie Furbringer and Lauren Carlini. You may have noticed during timeouts, they talk quite a bit. And Holly, like you said, they both geek out on watching film, but that is where the similarities end. Lauren told me we both have a love of the game and a love of competing in common. But after that, you couldn't get 2 more different personalities. Lauren said it's been a huge challenge, really learning the best methods for helping her star freshman and accepting that not everyone does it how she would do it. I'd say they found a very successful rhythm, the 2 of them.
Thank you, Heather. No question about that. And Lauren Carlini, one of the best college setters probably in the last 25 years, as evidenced by that resume. The roll continues for Wisconsin.
The team defense on the floor for Wisconsin has been so impressive today. They've been disciplined with their block, but also their backcourt defense. Look at Lola Schumacher. read that ball off the hands and keep it in play, and then Sarah Franklin does the work, transition offense.
Overpass. The Penn Panthers currently ranked #1. They've only lost once. Nebraska ranked #2. What does this say about the job the Cornhuskers came in here just a little over a week ago, sweeping Wisconsin? That ball is good, out of the middle by Mendelson, back in. Both of these teams still have a date in Lincoln with the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Kelly Sheffield told us his Wisconsin team learned from that loss. Look, we're vulnerable in these places. Where can we improve the connection? And they had very few practices between now and then, but they were able to get some better connections offensively.
Jocelyn Nathan on, barely substitute. Sarah Franklin is a very impressive volleyball player in every phase.
Watch this dribbler. Orgel slides under one hand to get under, and then Furbringer feeds Sarah Frank the tank, and she hits right between those two left side defenders for Penn State.
Here is Carly Anderson again. That ball is missed. Penn State continues to reel, but it's all about the pressure of Wisconsin serving and blocking defense phase.
The pass is so far off the net that Izzy Stark is having a hard time locating that slide set that's an important part of the Penn State offense.
Franklin now with 13 kills on 27 swings. Merzick, unloading.
It's a little different scenario when you've got Charlie Furbringer instead of Anna Spreck in front of you, and Jess Merzick takes advantage down the line. She's got some room to swing.
Furbringer is 5'11" as opposed to Anna Spreck at 6'9". And very capable technically as a blocker. Perfect pass. Booth. Furbringer continues to have all options on the table.
Penn State knows it's coming, and they still can't stop her. Carter Booth at 6'7" finds a piece of the block and hits it off of them.
We talked about the setting matchup between Izzy Stark and Charlie Furbringer. They first met one another when Izzy Stark and her family were living in Las Vegas. Furbringer out of Southern California, known each other since they were 8 years old. Played against one another most of the time, but also teammates for Team USA.
Watch Carter Booth do her job, own the net. Back-to-back defensive assignments, and Carter Booth all over it defensively for Wisconsin.
What a good point, Holly McPeak. Really good read by Carter Booth. Ready for the tip, ready for everything. That ball missed out of bounds. And the wheels have completely come off Penn State, but it's because of the pressure applied by the currently 7th-ranked Wisconsin Badgers. Just listen to this place.
11 kills, no errors for the 6'9" Anna Schreck, whose dad, Michael, who is 7 feet tall, played for the NBA 6 years, including winning 2 NBA championships with the Lakers. Now, I asked her what she's learned from her dad along the way. Her eyes lit up, and she said simply, everything. We are exactly alike. He taught me so much about mindset. Anna said growing up, her dad described sports as a roller coaster, that the bad is where the growth happens, that losing is hard, but sports are supposed to be hard. So for athletes like us, that's the fun part, she said, the competitiveness fun in us, and it doesn't define you. So obvious, guys, that Anna gets a lot more than just her height from her dad.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Heather Cox. And look at the response from Wisconsin. We talked about historically how Nebraska hasn't won here since 2013. But you look at Spreck's numbers, you look at Franklin's numbers, so they had to completely move on. They sweep Illinois, a good Illinois team on the road, then they come back and easily take out Iowa last night. Give you the dates of those matchups for each of these teams at Nebraska. Dug by Grimes, right on target. Spreck.
Wisconsin took advantage took the lessons learned from that Nebraska loss, and they're so much better today.
Looked at Anna Smrek's numbers, and if you take out and give Nebraska all the credit in the world, they really slowed Anna Smrek. But if you take that one out, she's hitting over 400 in the last 6 matches. Wisconsin continues to roll. Remember the opening set, 25-23? What has it been since then? Second set was 25-12. So that's 43-19 since that opening set.
Watch Cameron Hanna on this one go sharp inside the block. She's not going to challenge that block down the line anymore, especially with Smrek and Booth in front of her.
Orzel. Good strong swing through the block.
Wisconsin spends a lot of time on their transition setting because after a dig, you want to get a swing. And Wisconsin's done a really good job of that today, even if it's not the setter on that second contact.
Wisconsin is in Lincoln to take on the Cornhuskers on the 23rd. Penn State, they're on the 29th to close out the regular season. Trammell, a low scud, and that missed just out of bounds.
Penn State trying to run that middle. I like the idea, just set a little bit low for Taylor Trammell to get on top of.
Wisconsin goes out to LA next week. We'll have these Badgers at USC next Thursday night, and then they'll go on to play UCLA. Nice stab by Smrek. Oh, they called Anna Smrek over. Some slice of the ball has to be in the plane above the net.
Watch this ball. Looks like Anna Smrek goes on the other side of the net, and Penn State gets an easy break there.
Good pass by Franklin.
For Wisconsin today, and Charlie Furbringer distributing that ball, running the offense beautifully. Look at the middle blocker, took a step right for Penn State and laid together, and Anna Smrek makes them pay.
Wisconsin is hitting .500. You heard Kelly Sheffield against a very, very good defensive team in Penn State. Right side to Jaravicius.
Earlier in this match, we talked about how important it was to score from the right side. Jaravicius with her 5th kill. But when you can score from the right, that takes pressure off your left side.
Quinn Menger, defensive specialist out of Virginia, coming on to serve. 21-10 is the lead. If you're just joining us, remember Penn State came into this match with a 19-match winning streak in the Big Ten Conference. Undefeated along with Nebraska. Jaravicius tipping through the block and down.
Back-to-back kills on the right side for Penn State, and surface pressure right now allowing Wisconsin, or putting Wisconsin out of system.
Tough serve, well left by Schumacher along with Franklin. And now Julia Orzel will go back to serve. 22-11. Orzel 10 kills on 18 swings, 3 digs, a block as well. That's going to be a two-handed slam dig that time by Merzik. Merzik has never been able to get it going, but give all the credit to Wisconsin. Kelly Sheffield right in front of us has got the challenge card.
Assistant coach told Kelly Sheffield that he thought there was a net violation, but I don't think there's a challenge.
Maybe Falduto, 5'7" freshman, exceptional defensive specialist, will come on to serve. Dug by Grimes. Merzick. On the slide, Mendelson looking for a touch. That ball called out of bounds, and no question, Maggie Mendelson, number 44 in blue, emphatic that there was indeed contact with the Wisconsin block. So we are going to have a challenge on the side of Penn State from Katie Schumacher-Colley. 23-1 overall. Their only loss previously was at number 1, Pittsburgh.
Maggie Mendelson. Looks like she got Devin Robinson's finger on that slide attack.
Texas A&M, Missouri, and help me.
Texas A&M, Missouri, and oh gosh,
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
I got it. We got it. Good job. And we got Oklahoma. Very, very, very uncharacteristic for Texas. But if you have Maddie Skinner, you've got a chance to go very, very deep into the tournament. Ball is overturned. Here comes Falduto. How good has Schumacher been? Look at the quality of contact. Robinson is dug. Stark working against Furbringer in the middle. Back row, Orzo.
Different plays out of the middle, and then goes to Orzo out of the back row to end the long rally.
Carly Anderson wearing number 4 in white on to serve. 2 points away is Wisconsin from the sweep. Right side, that missed out of bounds. Look at what Wisconsin is doing. 99 swings, 3 hitting errors. Outblocked Penn State 11-0, hitting .465 on the afternoon. Match point. Merzick. Franklin, not yet. Wow.